All right, guys. So, welcome again. So, before I break this down and get into the 5 principles that help me to stay connected to God throughout my journey, I will want you to watch the first part of the video, pause this video, go listen to the full testimony. These principles will make so much sense to you when you hear what God actually did, right? So, I'm about to share this with you. It is not theory, right? It's what carried me through my master's program debt free, right? So the first principle is I held on to God's promise like my life depended on it. When God gave me this promise, I grabbed it. See, let me tell you, there are so many promises of God in the Bible. It is there to be claimed. It's not just there to be read and spoken and all that. Claim it for yourself. Put your name there. Replace whoever has their name there in the Bible with your name. Tell them that me koko, me ke. I will not borrow. I would lend to nations. That's how you claim it, right? And that is literally what I did. I held on to God's promises even when my bank account said otherwise. Even when I had like no clear goal as to how to pay for my tuition, like where the money was coming from. This was the promise I held on to. There were months when like tuition was due and I had no clear source. Like I had no clue what to do. Right? Instead of panicking and doubting God and all those things, questioning what's happened here and all that, I held on to that promise. I went back to it and I prayed on it. That's what kept me focused. It kept me steady, right? And when the numbers didn't make sense, it's like it kept me motivated and it gave me hope. That was hope for K, right? So, what promise are you holding on to? What promise is your anchor? See, look for the promise today. Write it down right now. Write it down. And that's how we're going to build on these principles. All right. So let's move to the second principle. I prayed standing on this promise. So after you've caught hold of the promise, and there's so many, if you're sick, it says that what you shall be healed. By his stripes you're healed. Hold on to that. If you're poor, he says that what? You shall be rich. If you're weak, it says that what you shall be strong. Hold on to that promise. And the second thing is what? To pray. Don't pray vague prayers. Like give God back his words. That is how you get God to move. Of course, he's moved by our cries and all that, but he's moved surely by his words. Give God back his words. Like when my rent was due, I prayed on this promise. When my teaching deadlines were coming, I prayed on this promise. When I needed work, right? All these internships I was telling you about, I prayed on this promise. Like, for example, when I needed more income for my second semester, I didn't panic. I just prayed, honestly, because I believed God as well. That's one thing also. You need to believe what you're praying for. So I'm an elementary school teacher at my church, right? And there's something that my pastor always says. He says that what? Do not pray and go back and say, but it will. See, you don't have to doubt God. When you pray, believe it, right? I prayed, and it's honestly this prayer that led me to speak to my professor about becoming a TA, and God opened the door that was previously not available, right? It is really the prayer. And it's not emotional prayer, it's intentional prayer, right? So the third principle, stay rooted in God, even when it costs you, right? That is what I did. Like, honestly, there were times that I could have taken shortcuts. Let me not get started on the shortcuts. Like I could have, and even like loans were calling. Like they would send me emails like, you can take this loan, or you can take this loan. Or I'm like, the options existed. There were a lot. It's not as if I didn't have the options. I had it. Look, I had submitted a loan application and I had withdrawn it. That's to what extent I'm telling you that what you need to stay rooted in God. If God says he's taking you through this and you have held on to his promise, don't look the other way, right? That's you doubting God, right? I chose to stay rooted in God. And sometimes it felt risky. Honestly, I'm like, I'm in a foreign country. Like, I don't have any money to rely on. Like, what am I doing? But see, it is this kind of sacrifices that God would not ignore. If you're staying rooted in God, it positions you to receive unexpected help, right? Like, imagine someone paying for 2 whole months, like 2 full months of my tuition, like, without even expecting it back. Oh my God, like this is what God can do, right? Roots always determine your fruit. So once you're rooted in God, you gain the fruits from God, right? The fourth principle is, right, I waited. Well, I only moved honestly when God opened the door. I learned this the hard ways. Remember the first time I moved ahead without God, I lost $2,500. Hold on for a second. Let it sink down. I was like, I am not about to do that the second time. I waited on God's timing throughout this journey, and everything really flowed smoothly. Like, honestly, just listen to the testimony if you haven't, and you understand what I'm talking about. Every job that I received, like every internship, every connection, it came without force. Like, I didn't force it. I didn't desperately go for it. Even with the payroll mistake, right? 10 times my salary was paid to me. It happened because I was already in the right place at the right time. It wasn't forced, right? And that is what happens when you wait on God. When God opens the door at that time, it's clean. It's without struggle, right? Fifth principle, right? I practice gratitude daily. Thank God when you wake up. Thank God when you're eating lunch. Thank God when you're about to sleep. Like, thank God for every single thing. It is non-negotiable, right? After paying my rent, I thank God. After paying my tuition, I thank God. When my account looked even low, now this is where you're thanking God even when you have not seen it yet. That is your faith, right? And I believe that what the gratitude that kept in my heart, it aligned me to God, right? So that I could recognize God's hand. He helps me. Sometimes even in ways I can never imagine, right? And that's how I held on to God. So look, gratitude kept the flow open. It kept the floodgates of heaven open, right? So in closing, I'm telling you that these principles didn't work in isolation. It worked because I had lived this in real life moments, right? I had applied it to me. So don't just hear it. Look, listen to it, practice it, apply it to your own situation, right? If you understand how this principles played step by step, go back and watch your testimony and see how I was able to apply this and apply it to your circumstances. Anyways, God is faithful, right? He's no respecter of persons. What he did for Kay, he will surely do for you if you believe. Now, I always pray for people that, my God, who has kept me this far, he will keep you. If you hold on to him, he will never let you go. He will never forsake you in the name of Jesus. So if you've been encouraged by this, you've learned something, you're about to change something in your life with these principles, please, please, please like this video, subscribe to it, comment, and let me know where you're applying these principles. It may not probably be in financial issues. It may be something else. Comment and let me know where you're applying these principles. And God richly bless you. Remember, if there's hope for Kay, there's hope for you. I love you guys. Bye.